Yo, RX back with another recap of UFC Saudi Arabia, Whittaker versus Aliskerov. We back with another recap and of a pretty great card. Yeah, UFC Saudi Arabia, pretty good. Pretty fucking good card. For a fun way to spend a Saturday afternoon, I enjoyed it. I really don't know how anyone could have not enjoyed it. Was it the best card in the world? No. But it was a good card. It was a very fun card. Again, a lot of moments. Not a lot, but a couple good moments. And it was a fun card, so I can't complain. I'm not gonna complain. So all I'm going to do is recap. So I'm not gonna ramble on for too long. So let's just get right into it. Before I do, please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs go by the end of the year. The last thing I'll say before I get into recap is we did hit 50. We hit 50 subscribers today. Yesterday, for when this is going out. So yesterday, Saturday, during the fights. Thank you. From the bottom of my fucking heart, thank you. It means more than I could ever fucking express, and I cannot be more grateful if I tried. For all 50 of you, thank you. And the only thing I can really think left to say is 50 was a long shot goal I never thought I would hit. Hell, 10 was. But if we hit 50, why not 60, 70, 80, etc., etc. Let's keep growing, like I know we will, cause y'all are fucking goats. So, thank you again, and let's recap some fights. You want to? I do. Let's do it. 11 fights in total we had no cancellations, and we had plenty during the week and before it, so we didn't need any more, and we didn't get any more, so we had 11 fights. So let's recap them. As in our first fight of the night, we had the Road to UFC finale, as we had a fun fight in the bantamweight division between Chang versus Long Xiao. Very, very good fight to start the night. Very competitive fight. Just a good fight. It was a really enjoyable fight to begin the night. In round one, I'm trying to remember the fight now. If I remember, I think Xiao took round one. I think he landed the better shots, if I remember. I believe. I'm trying to remember the fucking fight now, cause it's 4 in the morning and the fights happened at 12 in the afternoon. So. But yeah, if I remember, I think I gave Xiao round one. I think I remember him doing better, landing the better shots. But then in round two, Lee took over. Started really doing some good work, and then in round three, Lee really was doing better. Most of the fights just happened in the clinch. They were just trading knees and shit like that. But yeah, I think Lee took over after round one. Xiao's best round of the fight was round one. Round two was very close. I think the decision for this fight really does come down to round two to an extent. Because round three, I think, was clearly Lee. I think round one, if I remember correctly, was clearly Xiao. So it really comes down to round two, which I think Lee did more in to take. And I think that the judges agreed with me, not in the way I would score it, but they did agree with me with the 29-28 for Chang Lee, and Lee got the win. I think the judges got it right. I don't agree with the rounds that I would flip round 1 and 2. I think Xiao got the first, Lee got the second, but whatever. they got the right winner nonetheless, and Lee wins the tournament in a very good fight. Like I said, these two did go out there and show a lot of heart. They both showed they wanted this, but I think Lee wanted more. Xiao was pretty gassed by the end of the fight, and that's a big reason why Lee won this fight. So, really good win for Chang Lee to win the road to UFC bantamweight and to get a UFC contract. So, yeah. I'll talk about Lee a little bit more. He looked good. He looked pretty decent. Tough, very tough. Good gas tank. Was able to, his knees were vicious. A big reason he won this fight because Xiao just kept eating those knees. And now Lee is in the UFC, 10-1, 30 years old. Bantamweight has another good prospect. Let's see how far Lee can do, man, after winning a very tough fight. For Xiao, the veteran in this fight, but he was younger age-wise. He didn't fight bad. He did not fight bad at all, but I think Lee just fought smarter. Like, again, Xiao had a really good round 1, but seems like he kinda tampered off after round 1. Not even saying like he didn't look bad. He just, I think Lee took over, and by round 3, Xiao was pretty tired. His body was hurting because he ate like 70 fucking knees, and Lee won. I think Lee showed a little more heart, and that's why he got to win the contract. So, again, Xiao's not a bad fighter, and again, he didn't even look bad in this fight. If you scored the fight for him, I don't think you're insane, but I think the right guy won, and again, good fight for both guys, very good fight. Both showed they wanted this, but Lee showed a little more, so not very much else I can say. I'm kind of just going around in circles at this point. So, yeah, good fight to begin the night. No fight idea because Lee just got his contract and Xiao is not getting a fucking UFC contract. So, but I'm intrigued to see who Lee fights. Again, I know he's a good prospect, especially from road to UFC, which we've been like 50-50 on prospects from the road to UFC. We've got Rinat Nakamura, Josephine Knudsen, but we've also got fucking Anshan Jubilee and Jekka Sergei and shit like that. So you take the good and the bad. We'll see what category Lee falls into. Again, I think he looks like a decent fighter. Looked good in this fight, and we'll see what's next for him. So congrats to Lee for winning road to UFC in a very good fight to start tonight, and we'll see what's next for the kid. After that, we head to our second fight of the night, our first non-tournament fight of the night, and we head to light heavyweight for probably the worst fight of the night, because this was kind of boring, as we have Magomed Gadzhiyasulov versus Brendson Ribeiro. Yeah, this fight was not very good, probably the worst fight of the night. This, or there's a couple we could debate, but I would probably give this as the worst fight of the night. This is just not very good. It was, after round 1 it was kind of lame, because in round 1 Ribeiro looked pretty good, easily taking the round. He hurt Gadzhiyasulov's leg with a beautiful leg kick, and he was piecing him up on the feet a little bit. Gadzhiyasulov did get a takedown late in the first for like 10 seconds left, but it was definitely too little too late. And going in round 2, Gadzhiyasulov needed to change his game plan, and he did. For the next 2 rounds, he took Ribeiro down and just controlled him for 10 minutes. Like, really, not much else to it. Which is a smart game plan. Ribeiro was dangerous on his feet, and Magomed's leg was kind of messed up. So it was kind of smart to go with a wrestling approach in the later round. So, and he did, and it won him the fight. So, good for Gadzhiyasulov to win his UFC debut. Again, not a great fight, very boring. For 10 minutes, Gadzhiyasulov pretty much just laid on top of Ribeiro. But you gotta do what you gotta do to get a win. So, good win for Gadzhiyasulov. I'll talk about him first. He looked a little bit improved from Contender Series. His gas tank looked okay. His striking looked okay. He just looked okay so far. I still want to see a little bit more. I'm still not completely sold on him, but Gadzhiyasulov definitely is not a bad fighter. He still has a lot of growing to do, but he's not bad. His ground game's good. His striking's okay. His cardio's getting better, seems. So, and in a semi-tough debut like Brendson Ribeiro, he looked okay. So, we'll see what's next for Gadzhiyasulov. I don't know how bright of a prospect he is in the light heavyweight division. I gotta see how he does against some tougher competition before I give him really a stamp of approval to call him a good prospect. But yeah, I could see some potential with the dude, but I'm definitely not hopping on a hype train right at this moment. I think we need to see a little bit more before we do, because he was not really impressive on Contender Series, and he was not super impressive here, so I want to see a little more. So hopefully we get to see more of Gadzhiyasulov sooner than later, so we can get a real full picture of his skill set in UFC. And then for his opponent, Brendson Ribeiro, 0-2 in UFC now, and can you even be upset about it? To Zhang Mingyang and fucking Magomed Gadzhiyasulov, like, those are two pretty good fighters to lose to. Like, Zhang's a great prospect, Gadzhiyasulov could be a good prospect. Like, you can't be mad about those losses. Like, the UFC's kind of been giving him fucking... They fed him to the wolves, to an extent. So, hopefully he gets an easier fight in his next fight, because he doesn't need a win. Now, I don't think he gets cut right now. I think it'd be kind of insane to cut him after only 2 fights against tough competition. But, I think crazier things... Again, I don't see why you would cut him. I think he deserves one more fight against some lesser competition, and if he can win that, then it just shows, like, you gave him some tough ass fights, man. So I don't think Ribeiro's a great fighter. I think his striking is decent. He has good power, but he's not a great fighter. He's definitely, as we've seen now twice, he's super beatable. And yeah, I want to see him against lesser competition, because we've seen him against high-level competition, or high competition, he's lost. Let's see how he does against lower level. So, yeah, not very much else to say. Only thing left to say now is, who should they fight next? For Gadzhiyasulov, I doubt I'll have a fight idea for him. But maybe maybe I'll find something intriguing. I don't think you boost him up the rankings right away. I don't really think he's ready for a fight like that. But I think you could give him you can give him someone shitty, like, I don't know how I feel about Pilato. I think Devin Clark got cut. I think Da Jung got cut. Negumereanu's not a bad option. A guy who's been off for a while. I don't hate the Negumereanu fight or even Ian Kuchilaba. 2 very low-level fights. 2 fights Gadzhiyasulov could easily win. Not really seeing much else besides that. I think everyone here outside of Ribeiro is cut or not a UFC fighter. So yeah, well, maybe you could get this is the type of guy Ribeiro could fight. For Gadzhiyasulov, I don't hate the idea of him versus either Negumereanu or Ian Kuchilaba. I think either one of those fights could work pretty well for him. Two fights he could definitely win and probably should win. So let's see if they do one of those fights. I think those, like, I know these guys are 32-27, like, for Tapology ranking, they're pretty decently ranked, but I don't think they're very good fighters. At least for Kutilava, we know Jan Kutilava sucks. Negomarianu been off for 2 years. I don't hate that. I'm leaning more Negomarianu. I think there might be a better fight for Kutilava, but for Negomarianu, I don't hate seeing him fight Gadzhiyasulov. So, as of right now, that's what I'm leaning with Gadzhiyasulov's fight idea. I think that's a pretty decent fight. Good test for both guys. I don't know why not do it. Let's see which long name wins. But, yeah, not really much else to say. Good win and good debut for Gadzhiyasulov, even if it was a pretty boring fight. Just to win your debut is always a good thing. And who should they fight next? I like the idea of Gadzhiyasulov versus Negomarianu. Again, very interesting fight. A fight Gadzhiyasulov can definitely win. And I guess we're gonna see how he does and who they give him. If they give him a step up, a step down. I don't know why you wouldn't give him a step up, so, but not a giant one, but a decently sized one. And then for Ribeiro, give him a step down. Give him one of the shittiest light heavyweights you have, and let him get a win, because you fed him to the wolves twice now. Give him a win. So, yeah, not very much else to say. Pretty boring fight for our second fight of the night, but it only goes up from here. This was probably the worst fight of the night, and even with this being the worst fight of the night, kind of says a lot, because this fight was passable. It only goes up from here, so not a great fight, but a good debut for Gadzhiyasulov, and let's see him fight Negomarianu next. I think that'd be a pretty good second fight for him. Not anything else to say. Not a good fight. After that, we had to bantamweight for a fight that was okay, actually pretty decent for how underwhelming it looked on paper. As we head back to bantamweight for a fight that was, again, shockingly not terrible, between Muin Gafurov versus Kang Kang. Yeah, I was kind of wrong about this fight. I said this fight would suck and not be very good. It was actually a decent fight. It wasn't a great fight. Don't get me wrong. It was not a great fight, but I've seen much worse. So yeah. Another decision. Get ready to look at the scorecards a lot tonight. This was as close to a Gafurov domination as you can get. In round 1, he kind of dominated. I'm trying to remember the fight now. Yeah, round 1 he did pretty good. Landed some nice shots. Did get a lot of top control if I remember. Yeah, and then round 2, definitely Kang's best round of the fight. He did get top control for about like 2 minutes. But Gafurov did get up, fucking hurt him, did some damage, and did take the second half of the round. And then in round 3, it's pretty much 2-0 Gafurov, 1-1 Kang if you're being super nice. But it did not matter because Gafurov beat up Kang pretty badly. He stuffed takedowns, he got him to the ground, etc., etc. And then late in the fight, Gafurov landed with 4 seconds left or whatever, Gafurov threw a perfect spinning heel kick that connected pretty well, hurt Kang, and almost got to finish. He didn't. He dropped him to his knees, which he did, I think, like 1 or 2 other times this fight. And that's the cherry on top of the cake. And Muin Gafurov gets its first UFC win with a 30-27 decision. Yeah, judges got it right here. Like I said, the only close round of the fight was the second, and I think Kang won the first half of the round, Gafurov won the second half. I think Gafurov's half was a lot more dominant. So, yeah, not really much else to say on that part. Now let's talk about the fighters, and I'll start with Muin Gafurov. Good win for Gafurov. I think this was the first time we've actually seen how good Gafurov really is, because I said this in the breakdown, I'll say it again here. we really did not get to see how good he was. He fought John Castaneda in his debut on short notice. That's never going to be an easy debut. And he fought Saeed Nurmagomedov. What the fuck was he going to do in that fight? So this was his first real UFC fight in a way, and he looked good. He, like, yeah, it was against a completely terrible fighter, but he didn't look bad. Like, outside round 2 at points, he didn't look bad. His cardio looked improved. Something that's definitely been a weakness of his in the past is his cardio. His cardio looked good. His striking looked phenomenal. Kang's a terrible striker, but Gafurov's striking did look really good in this fight. His wrestling on both ends, defensively and offensively, did not look terrible. He looked like a pretty all-around fighter here. And for his first UFC win, you can't really ask for a much better performance. 30-27 across the board, domination, hurt Kang a couple times. It was a really good win, and first UFC win for Muin Gafurov. Very, very impressive stuff here. And again, good. First, he needed this win, an L here, and he was getting cut. He got the win he needed. Can't really ask for a much better first UFC win. To talk about his opponent, Kang, he's not a very good fighter. Like, he's a 36-year-old bantamweight who kinda is one-dimensional. He does not have really good striking. He's pretty much just his really good jiu-jitsu. And that's about it. He really does not do anything else very well. His gas tank ain't good. His striking ain't good. He's not a great fighter. And at 36 years old, he's just getting older and worse. So, I'm not saying he should retire yet. I think 36 is a little early. But I don't think he's gonna retire in the UFC. But he probably has a couple more fights left in him. So, we'll see. I don't know. I think the clock is ticking for Kang at this point on his UFC career and his fighting career. Again, 36 years old and only looking worse and worse. Like, did he look that terrible in his fight? Not really. He just kind of got outclassed. And it wasn't even that bad of an outclassing. Gafurov was the better fighter in this fight, so yeah, not really much else to really say. Respect to Gafurov, man. Really good win here. Unless I'm forgetting to say something, which I don't think I am, let's get into fight ideas. For Gafurov, there's some options. You could give him a pretty decent fight if you really want to. Cameron Simon would be an interesting fight. I don't think you give him. I really don't think he's really earned any of these higher echelon dudes. And like Simon would be an interesting fight, just because probably Simon would win and get back on track. Besides that, you got Brad Katona, you got Ricky Torcios, you got some options. Dan Argueta, Bexat. Yeah, you got a lot of fucking options. I don't hate that Simon fight. Katona would be intriguing, I guess. Yeah, a lot of Gene Matsumoto would be an intriguing fight. You got a lot of options with Muin. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what option they do go with him. I'm leaning either Katona or Simon. I think both those fights are not terrible. So we'll see if the UFC does either one of those. If so, I'm down to see it. I think those are good fights. And we'll see what happens. And no fight idea for Kang. A, I don't care, and B, I don't know what you do with him, to be honest. Maybe you could feed him to like a Cody Garbrandt or a Davy Grant, Brian Kelleher, someone along those lines. So, family has a lot of old dudes right now, so any one of those guys would work. So yeah, pretty simple. Not really much else to say. Sorry. The only thing left to really say is who should I fight next? For Gafurov, I like him either versus Simon or Katona right now. I think either one of those fights would be pretty good. And yeah, not very much else to say. Good first UFC win for Gafurov. He looked really damn good. And we'll see if he can now carry this into a nice streak at bantamweight. We'll have to wait and see. Good win for Gafurov. After that, we have to our fourth fight of the night in the welterweight division. A fight that was not terrible, kind of predictable with who won it and how they won it. As we head to welterweight for a fight between Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Nicolas Dalby. Pretty good fight. Not a really hard fight to predict. In round one, it was a very even fight, kind of a feeling out process to an extent. Late in the round, Rinat landed a perfect, I believe it was a straight right that dropped Dalby. That gave Rinat the round. In round two, probably Dalby's best round. It was a very close round. Dalby landed some nice shots, and Rinat landed some nice shots. It was a good round. I gave it to Rinat, I believe, but it was close. And then round three, Rinat kind of just took over. He started getting takedowns more and more, tiring Dalby out a little bit. And yeah, Rinat did enough to win round three, which got him a split decision W. I think I scored 30-27. I don't hate 29-28 though. It was kind of close. Dalby did not win that fight though. I think giving him round 2 and 3 is a little insane, but whatever. Either way, I think the judges got it right with a win for Rinat Fakhretdinov. Yeah, I'll talk about Rinat first. Rinat is a weird fucking case. He did not look great, but he did not look terrible. He looked improved from the Zaleski fight to an extent. His striking still was not very good. Like, yeah, I know he got knocked down, but we know he has power. It's his, like, he does not really throw combos. He's not a really good striker. That's still a hole in this game. His cardio looked better. A little bit. He was not gassed by round 2. He looked a little bit better gas tank wise. And we already know his grappling and wrestling, all that's great, so he still has a couple holes in his game. Like I said, striking is not amazing, but if he can just slowly patch his fucking holes in his game, which I think he is, Rinat's a really good fighter. He's only 32 years old, 23 2-1. He's not a bad fighter. Yeah, his last 2 performances now have been pretty underwhelming, but he's fighting tough veterans. So, and I think these fights have made him better, and have and will make him better. So, we'll see if that statement is true in any coming fights. But I think Rinat's a really interesting prospect in the welterweight division, and I think it's about time to give him a pretty big fight, because on a 4-fight winning streak in the UFC, just knocking off a streaking Nicolas Dalby, kind of hard not to give him maybe even a top 15 fight. So we'll see what happens. I'm down to see Rinat fight a top 15 dude. I'll get into that in a minute. I don't know who exactly, but we'll see. Rinat's a really good fighter. He's almost, I think he's right on the verge of being a top 15 skill-wise guy. He just needs a little bit better striking. His cardio is pretty much where it needs to be. Maybe a little better you can make it. But I think he's right on the doorstep of being good enough for the top 15 and blah blah blah, etc. So we'll see if he can make that leap in the coming fights. To talk about his opponent, Nicolas Dalby. Yeah, he didn't look bad in this fight. And yeah, he took it L. His fun little streak is over, but I still think Dalby's a good fighter. Like, he's 39 years old. He just gave Rinat a hell of a fight. he's still a good fighter, and I'm gonna be excited to see him fight again, because I think he's still a very dangerous fighter in this welterweight division, especially a guy you cannot count out. And I think he beats a lot of guys. I think he's a tough fight for a lot of guys. And I'm very intrigued to see who he fights next. Back-to-back fights against prospects. Let's see how he does. Let's see if he gets a step back in competition against maybe a little bit of a more veteran-like guy. Off the top of my head, Tim Means, who, never mind, he just lost to him not long ago, but more of a veteran, a Court McGee maybe. Or does he fight another young guy like a Brian Battle or a... We'll see. A couple names I could probably think of. So it sucks to see Dalby lose. I wasn't really enjoying this little fucking winning streak of his, but he accepted this Rinat fight. It was a risky fight. It was a high risk, high reward, and he sadly had to deal with the risk more than the reward. But he's 39 years old, which is a red flag, but he's still fighting pretty good. He does not look 39 years old in the slightest. Let's see how long he can keep this going for. Only thing left to say now is who should they fight next for Rinat. There are some options. If he did fight a top 15 dude, who? Kevin Holland? I don't love it. A lot of people are saying Neil Magny. I don't hate it, but I want to see Magny and Wonderboy. I would love to see the two veterans fight. I think that'd be a fun fight. Buckley? I don't know why Buckley would take that fight. Geoff Neal? I don't hate it. I don't hate Neal and fucking Rinat. Or does he fight someone who's not in the top 15? If so, who? Randy Brown is right there. I don't hate that Randy Brown fight. I forget who I said Randy Brown should fight after. What was it? When did he just fought not long ago? After 302. I forget who I said he should fight. I think it was Michael Morales, which I stick by that. Do that. But for Rinat, I don't know. The fight that I like the most of the Geoff Neal fight, I don't hate that as a fight, but who knows? Who fucking knows what's gonna... Like, the only reason I'm not 10 toes down on a Neal fight is Kevin Holland, because I would love to see Kevin Holland versus Geoff Neal rematch, but no one knows what fucking weight class Kevin Holland's gonna fight at next, so... If Holland does not fight Geoff Neal next, I love the idea of Rinat and Neal. I think that's a really good fight. Rinat and Randy Brown's a good fight. Rinat and fucking Michael Morales would be a banger to rebook. Rinat and Chaos Williams would be a banger. So you got a lot of good options. So we'll see what they do. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure right now. Guess just wait and see. And then for Nicolas Dalby, a lot of good options for him as well. Chaos Williams, Max Griffin, Gunnar Nelson, fucking Nico Price, Brian Battle. A lot of good options for him. Just wait and see which option he gets. Yeah, I'm gonna be excited to see Dalby fight news again. I think he's still a very interesting name in the division right now, and we'll see if he can get back on track after a really tough loss here against a good prospect. Only thing I have to say now is who should they fight next? There really no fight idea for either. Again, for Rinat, the best thing I could find is Geoff Neal. I don't hate that fight. And for Nicolas Dalby, a lot of options. So, I guess we'll have to just wait and see what happens with both these guys. I'm gonna be excited to hear fight news for both of them, because they're both very good fighters. And they had a very good fight here. Rinat, it was a Rinat fight. If Rinat's gonna win, you know it's gonna be a lot of takedowns involved, like there was. And yeah, it was a good fight. Good, tough fight for both guys. It made Rinat better. I think that's the main thing. This fight made Rinat better. This and the Volesky fight are going to be the reasons Rinat does make it in the top 15, if he did make it to the top 15. So let's see what happens. Good fight. at welterweight. After that, we head to our co-main of the prelims for a fucking amazing fight and just a awesome moment as we head to featherweight for an awesome moment and fight between Felipe Lima versus Magomed Naimov. What a fucking moment for Lima. In round 1, Lima pieced up Naimov on the feet, easily took round 1. In round 2, Lima kind of did much the same. It was a closer round. I gave the round to Lima, but I could see having it 1-1 going into his third. And then in the third round, Lima got on Naimov's back after, did he stuff a takedown or something? I don't remember. I think he did stuff a takedown or some bullshit. And he locked up a rear naked choke and choked Naimov out. Felipe Lima wins the UFC debut on, a week notice. At up a weight class. What a moment for the kid. What a fucking moment. Of course I gotta talk about Lima first because, again, wow, this kid's really fucking good. The first thing I'm gonna say is, if this is how good he's looking on no camp, pretty much, up a weight class, I cannot wait to see this dude at bantamweight on a full camp. And I know he was kind of in camp already for a fight next month, but that was next month. That was not a week away, so I cannot wait to see him back at his weight class at bantamweight, and I think it's gonna be I think bantamweight just got another really scary prospect on their hands, because if this dude's able to do that on short notice up a weight class, what's he gonna do when he gets back down to weight class? Because he looked great. His striking looked crisp, his ground game looked amazing, his cardio looked good. 26 years old, 13-1. On a fucking, 13 fight winning streak, right? Yeah. This kid's good. A name to keep an eye on. Definitely, just wow. Just simple as that. Wow. He is really fucking good. And respect your kid, man. Respect. He deserves this. He earned this. He deserves it. And the bantamweight, you got a problem on your hands. You got a fucking problem. Not gonna really talk about Naimov. Fuck Naimov. He deserves this for all the bullshit fucking fights he's had in UFC. The fucking Nathaniel Wood fight, the fucking Jamie Malarkey fight. Fuck him. He sucks and he deserves this, so fuck Naimov. Only thing left to say now is who should they fight next? For Felipe Lima going back down to his weight class, I'm going to not fucking give him a fat featherweight fight because he's not going to be a featherweight. I think, could put, not you, but I think right away you could put Lima in the fucking upper echelon of the division. You could easily put him up against any of these guys right now. Now Tung Haley, Cody Stamen, a fucking John Castaneda, fucking Eamon Zahavi, Davey Grant, Miles Johns, Victor Henry, any of these guys. You could put them right in there with any of them right fucking now. Will the UFC do that? I doubt it, but they should. This kid's ready for the big time. Now the only problem is, who does he fight? Castaneda's not a bad option. Castaneda, a good veteran of the division. Victor Henry, I don't hate that idea either, but I think I like a Castaneda fight. That's getting Felipe right in there with an OG of the division, a very tough opponent like Castaneda. I like it. I think I like that fight. I'm not seeing, at this moment in time, I'm not seeing much better that I like. So, and to be honest, if you book Lima Castaneda right now, I think Lima wins. So yeah, I like that idea. Lima Castaneda sounds good to me. Let's book it. Not very much else to say. Great debut for Felipe Lima. So happy he got a bonus like he deserves. And this kid's good. I can't wait to see him on a full camp at bantamweight. This kid is a fucking issue. And again, bantamweight, you have an issue on your hand. Let's see what happens. Great debut for Felipe Lima, and who should he fight next? At this moment, I like the idea of him versus John Castaneda. I think that's a very good fight. So, let's see it. Not very much else to say. Great debut for Lima. And now time for the featured prelim, a fight that was a fucking banger. Like, and I'm not even joking, this fight was like shockingly great. As we head to lightweight for a banger between Nasrat Haqparast versus Jared Gordon. What a goddamn fight. In round 1, Gordon was pressuring Nasrat, but Nasrat was able to land the better shots and win round 1. Round 2, Gordon really had the best round for him in this fight, just walking Nasrat down and doing really good work. 1-1 going into the third, and it was a fucking split hairs third. It was dead even pretty much. Both guys landed good shots. Amazing fight. There was no defense involved, just eating punches. It was an amazing fight. And after the 5 minutes, 2 judges gave it to Nasrat Haqparast, and he won by split decision. I agree with the scorecard. I gave it to Nasrat, but in the same breath, I was just thinking, who cares about scorecards? What a fight. The fact these two did not get 5 tonight is insane, because that fight was easily the best on the card. So just a great fight, simple as that. And respect to both guys. I disrespect this fight. I thought this was kind of a whatever fight, and they shut me up real quick because these two had a banger. So good job, boys. Great fucking fight. Not gonna really speak much on each fighter because they are fucking pretty much veterans at this point. So, but I'll talk about Nasrat first. Now on a 4-fight winning streak, which is that the best streak of his career in UFC? Yeah, 4 in a row, man. You could start giving Nasrat a pretty good fight. I'm not sure who, but on a 4-fight winning streak, you give him a pretty decent fight. He's been looking good on this winning streak. Makdessi, Quinones, Malarkey, Gordon, coming off 2 really good performances. You can give him really a lot of people. So I'll get into fight ideas in a second, but yeah, 4 in a row for Nasrat. Let's see what's next for him. And he's only 28 years old, which is crazy for how long he's been in the UFC. And then for Jared Gordon, it's Jared Gordon. He's going to win some, he's going to lose some. That's what he does. In this case, he did lose, but knowing him, he'll probably win his next fight. So, yeah, not very much else to say. It's Jared Gordon. The only thing left to say now is, who should I fight next? For Nasrat Haqparast, a lot of options on the table for him. You could give him a ranked fight easily. The problem is, who? Bobby Green's booked, RDA's a welterweight. Turner should fight Carr close, so that already narrows down the options. You got Benoit, who's probably gonna fight Dan Hooker, and then you're not gonna fight Moicano, so you're kind of left with no one in the top 15, and now Nasrat kind of has to fight someone outside of it. So, who? Grant Dawson? I don't hate that fight. Matt Frivola would be a fun one. Drew Dober rematch, why not? Ludwig Klein would be intriguing. Who did I say Klein should fight? I think Diego Fieta, yeah. Thiago Moises right doesn't make a lot of sense, but that'd be a good fight nonetheless. I don't hate Nasrat versus Grant Dawson. I think that's a very intriguing fight. Fucking Nasrat has a really good takedown defense. Dawson would really test that. I don't hate that fight, because I think, aside from Vola, who just really does not have a fight right now, I don't think Nasrat's going to turn around and fight that quickly. So, and I think, well, Dober doesn't have a fight either, but I doubt they do that rematch. So, I like Nasrat and Dawson. I think that's a very intriguing fight. Definitely a fight I would pick Nasrat to win. I think he's the better fighter. Stuff to takedowns, and he should win pretty easily. So, I'm leaning that right now. I'm leaning Dawson and Nasrat. Maybe I'll change my mind, but I don't hate that fight. I really don't hate that fight. So, maybe let's do it. We'll have to wait and see, but I don't hate it. I really don't. And I have really no idea for Jared Gordon. It's Jared Gordon. UFC will probably give him some fight that makes no fucking sense. So, yeah, whatever. Not very much else to say. Great fight between these two. Easily should have been fight of the night, and it was. It just didn't get a bonus for whatever reason. And, the only thing I have to say is who should they fight next for Nasrat. I'm leaning towards him and Grant Dawson. I think that's an intriguing fight. So let's see it happen. And for Jared Gordon, he'll probably get back on track versus somebody. So, yeah. Not very much else to say. Good win for Nasrat Haqparast, and an even better fight. And, yeah, banger. Fight of the night. So those are the prelims. Not very much to say. They were pretty decent prelims. The Lee fight was good. Gafurov was decent. Rinat was okay. Lima and Haqparast were great. Really, just the Gadzhiyasulov fight was not great. The rest was all pretty decent. So can't really complain about those prelims. They're pretty decent all around. And now we head into the main card, which was pretty good. Pretty fucking good. And so, let's get into it. As we begin with a fight that went shockingly how probably a lot of people expected it to go. As we begin in the light heavyweight division with a quick fight between Volkan Oezdemir versus Johnny Walker. Well, this didn't last long. For the 2.5 minutes this fight lasted, Volkan pretty much just walked down Walker. Johnny really did not throw anything in return as he was getting walked down, and eventually he got dropped. He got up, recovered a little bit, but eventually he got dropped again, and one more follow-up shot sent Johnny out cold. It's a Johnny Walker fight. Either he's getting KO'd or he's getting KO'd. Sometimes he actually wins. I don't know how. But, yeah. Wow. That was quick. Gotta talk about Volkan first. What a performance. His first winning streak since 2019. Back-to-back knockouts or finishes in the first round. He's looking good. Volkan's looking good against some tough guys like Bogdan and Johnny. And now he's on a 2-fight winning streak. Most good stuff, man. He bullied Walker somehow. You know, he's shorter. Yeah, he just really walked down Johnny and KO'd him. Pretty simple shit. Johnny's just fucking stupid. So again, good one for Volkan, man. 34 years old, still got a lot of power in his hands. Doesn't take much power to knock out Johnny Walker, and Volkan had just the right amount. So, not very much else to say. To talk about Johnny Walker. How has this guy ever won a fight? Like, that's all I was thinking after, is how has he ever won a fight? He is so fucking bad, and he's also so good at times. It's like, how the fuck has he ever won a fight? Like, he fought so bad in this fight, it's insane. All he did was walk backwards for 2.5 minutes and then get KO'd. Like, I don't know why he was letting Volkan just walk him down like it was nothing. Like, dude, you're fucking 4 or 5 inches taller than him. Punch back. Why are you getting walked down like a bitch? And he didn't get that memo, and that's why he's still sleeping in the cage right now. So it's like, I don't know. Johnny's one of the most frustrating fighters to watch, let alone fucking predict. Because one night Johnny will look like a world beater. Next time he's getting chinned in fucking 2 minutes. It's like, what the fuck, man. Like, he has talent. That's the thing with Johnny. He has all the talent. He just doesn't put it all together. He just sucks at actually putting it together and not getting KO'd. He has no chin, 0 fight IQ, and he kind of deserves it. So, like, I feel bad for Johnny since we're all a fan of Johnny Walker. But at the same time, you fucking kind of deserve it for fighting so bad. So, not very much else to say, man. Just Johnny Walker. Only thing left to say now is who should they fight next for Volkan Oezdemir. This is a tough one. There's a lot of options for him. You got Khalil, you got Ratchik, you got Jan, you got Hill. I think are the main 4. He just fought Krylov not that long ago, if I remember. And I think he lost to him, no less. Yeah, so Krylov off the table. That leaves Khalil, Ratchik, Hill, and Jan. It doesn't make sense because he's gonna be ranked higher than Khalil. It really doesn't make sense for him to fight Khalil. So that really leaves 3 options. I don't hate the idea of him versus Jamal, but I don't. Maybe him and Khalil. I don't hate that idea. I might go him and Khalil. The more I think about it, because I think Jamal should probably just fight Jan at this point. Ratchet can fight Krylov, Khalil and Oezdemir. Yeah, I like it. I might just go because he's only gonna be ranked 1 higher than Khalil, so yeah, I might just go Khalil and Volkov, or not Volkov, Volkan. So yeah, that's what I'm leaning, because I think Hill should fight Jan. I think that makes more sense. I think Ratchik should fight Krylov. I think that makes more sense. And then that leaves Khalil and Oezdemir. I like it. Let's do it. So, a win. I just don't think Johnny Walker and debuting Bogdan Glushkov are 2 wins that gets you a top 5 opponent. So, let's see Volkan fight Khalil Roundtree. That's what I'm feeling. Let's see it. And then for Johnny Walker. Dominic Reyes or Carlos Alberg. Yeah, probably Reyes or Alberg. That's probably what I would say. Who did I say Reyes should fight after he won last week or a couple weeks ago? I don't remember. Was it Krylov? I think it was. Yeah, you either do. I would probably do Walker and Reyes. I think that's a pretty good fight. Alberg can fight someone else. I don't know fucking who at this point. But maybe Glushkov. That'd be a pretty cool fight. But yeah, I don't hate the idea of Johnny Walker and Dominic Reyes. Probably a fight Reyes wins at this point. So yeah, either Alberg or Reyes for Johnny. Probably ends in Johnny knocked out either way, especially if it's Alberg, goddamn. But yeah, I'm down to see either one of those fights. Only thing left to say now is who should I fight next. I like Volkan and Khalil Roundtree, and I like Johnny and either Reyes or Alberg. Volkan and Khalil makes a lot of sense. I would like to see it. Johnny versus Reyes or Alberg is a great fight. So, let's do them. Not very much else to say. Great way to begin the main card with a quick, crazy knockout. And yeah, man, Volkan showed up and showed out. No time, indeed. So, yeah, poor Johnny Walker, man. Fucking dealt it to himself. After that, we had to middleweight for a very lame, underwhelming, bad, I don't know what terms to use, but for a very not great fight, as we head to middleweight for our second fight of the main card between Shara Magomedov versus Antonio Trócoli. Yeah, I got a lot to say here, and I don't know if a lot of people are gonna want to hear it. So in round 1, Trócoli kind of just cuddled Shara against the cage. When they did break apart, Shara did land some good shots. I gave Shara round 1. Trócoli kind of just laid on Shara, really didn't do much else besides that. In round 2, Shara really started to take over. Still got cuddled a little bit, but not very much. So probably I had 2-0 Shara going into round 3, and then in round 3 it was just a beating. Antonio was gassed, and Shara just beat him up for 2.5 minutes until he got the knockout. So eventually he did land the knockout blow, sent Antonio down and out. I'm gonna start by saying something that maybe it's controversial, or a lot of people agree with. From what I saw on Twitter today, a lot of people agree with me. I don't see the Shara hype. Am I missing something? Because I've not been impressed with this guy. Is he a bad fighter? No, not by any means. I think he's a pretty decent fighter. But I don't see all the hype. He's not impressed me. He's now had 2 fights in the UFC, and they've both been very, very underwhelming. He looked subpar versus Bruno Silva, and he looked super underwhelming against Antonio in a fight he should have won in round 1. So, I'm not super impressed with Shara. I expected better, and as of right now, I'm not impressed with this dude. So, maybe he'll change my mind sooner than later. But as of right now, I'm not impressed with Shara Bullet. I'm not. I just look at him as a fine fighter. I don't see the hype. I don't think he's that guy. And there's a lot of matchups at middleweight where I would pick him to lose. And I'll get into those in a minute, but as of right now, I don't see the hype. Call me crazy. And I'm not even going to waste time talking about Antonio. This was pretty much not even fair. Antonio, heal up, and we'll see you at light heavyweight whenever you can come back, because this is barely even fair. So, yeah. Only thing left to say now is, who should they fight next? For Shara Bullet, there's a lot of options. No, they're not going to feed him to Bo Nickel, sadly, even though that'd be amazing. I want to see him fight a grappler. There's a lot of options out there, and I would like to see him fight a grappler so we could see him, how much he does improve. Chris Weidman's not a bad option. I doubt they would do that, though. GM3's not a bad option. Bo Nickel's not a bad option. Imagine. Paul Craig is an interesting one. I would like to see this fight. I think this might be the perfect fight for him at this point. GM3 I think's a little bit like, okay, whatever. Paul Craig would be intriguing as fuck. I would be down to see that fight. If you give him a fucking ranking fight off 2 underwhelming performances, the UFC's a fucking joke. Well, Paul Craig's not still ranked, right? No. Yeah, do Shara Bullet and Paul Craig. I think that's a really logical fight. We're really gonna see how Shara looks against a guy who's pretty much a fucking punching bag. I think that's a perfect fight. It's either that or what, GM3? Like, I'm not seeing much else that like, unless you give him another striker, but we know he's a good, we know Shara is a good striker. What does giving him fucking, I don't know, Edmund Shabazian do? Yeah, he's gonna knock out Edmund Shabazian real quick. Ooh. Like, nah, give him Paul Craig. I think that's a really interesting fight. Let's see this dude actually fucking look good on the ground. Let's see him improve as a fighter. So, let's see it. Paul Craig and Shara Bullet. I'm fucking down. Book it. Fucking book it. No idea for Antonio, of course, because he's gonna go back up to light heavyweight for his next fight, so, yeah. Not really much else to say. I did not really care about this fight, and I cared about even less how bad it was. And again, I don't see the hype with Shara. He has the look. He has the fucking striking ability. he's just not impressed me. I need to see more. But until I do, the last thing I'll say is, who should Shara fight next? Paul Craig. I'm down to see that fight. It'd really be a test for Shara. Book it. Book it. Not very much else to say. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with field performance. Simple as that. Speaking of not impressed and shitty fights, let's go into our third fight of the main card in the middleweight division. Not the weight class it was booked for. As we head into a pretty bad fight that I'm not going to talk much about because I don't care. I ranted enough in my breakdown about this fight. I don't need to rant much more. As we have Kelvin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez. Oh boy. Not much to say. For 15 minutes, KG kind of just beat up D-Rod because he was heavier and he is the better fighter in 2024. KG pretty much just beat him up on his way to a 30-27. Not much to say there. What I will say is KG is still a pathetic joke. You can fucking say you're gonna get better at weight cutting, you're gonna try blah 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 blah. Until I see it, motherfucker, I have no respect for Kelvin Gastelum. Until he shows up on weight at the weight it was scheduled for, I don't have any respect for Gastelum. And if it's not at welterweight, I don't have any respect because middleweight's easy for him. Until he shows up at welterweight on weight, I don't have any respect for him. He's a lazy fat fuck. Simple as that. And for D-Rod, yeah, I think that's the last D-Rod fight we see. It's time to cut him. He's 37 years old. He's not that good anymore. And he's just past his prime. Well, let him walk. Let him go to PFL or fucking Game Bred Fighting, whatever. Let him just walk. He's done UFC. He's 37 years old on a 3-fight. A lot of people would say a 4-fight losing streak. I'll let him walk. The only reason I could see the UFC keeping him is because he was so willing to take this fight up a weight class. I could see them fucking being nice to him, giving him another fight in that regard. And if they did, fine. I don't agree with it, but fine. I think it's time to let D-Rod go. He had his moments in UFC. He's on a nice winning streak. But a lot of shit started to go wrong after the Leech fight, even in the Leech fight, since no one thinks he won that fight, so, yeah. But, yeah, sorry D-Rod, but see you in PFL, or wherever you go, no idea, so, yeah. Not very much else to say. Pretty bad fight and pretty annoying fight in general, so no fight idea because I have no respect for KG. And I won't give him a fight idea until I actually respect him. And yeah, not very much else to say. Shitty fight. Stop being lazy, you fat fuck. After that, we had to our co-main event of the evening. A fight that went nothing as predicted. As we head to heavyweight for a very intriguing fight between Alexander Volkov versus Sergei Pavlovich. I can't believe I'm saying that A Pavlovich fight went 15 minutes, and B, Volkov pieced him up and schooled him for 15 fucking minutes. Yeah, this was the Alexander Volkov masterclass. Respect is all I can say. Respect to fucking Volkov, man. For 15 minutes, he fought at range perfectly. He stayed on the outside. He picked apart at Pavlovich and beat him. Respect. That's all I can say. Respect to Volkov. He fought pretty much the perfect fight. Like, this is the way you fight against Pavlovich when you're his size. This is what he was trying to do and pretty much kind of did do against Derek Lewis. So, respect to Volkov, man. 35 years old, and to beat Pavlovich that easily. Respect is all I can say. Fucking mad respect, man. That's all I can fucking say. I was not expecting that. I can honestly say I did not expect that. I did think Volkov could win. I thought he could clip Pavlovich or like with a body shot or something, but no. 15-minute domination? That was not on my bingo card. Respect to Volkov, man. Yeah, I really don't got much else to say. Great one for Volkov. And he deserves a big fight. 4 fights in a row now. Let's see what's next for the guy. I have an idea, and I think he deserves it. But for this guy, Sergei Pavlovich now lost 2 in a row, and he threw a little temper tantrum after the fight. Yeah, things are really going downhill for Sergei. Like the Aspinall L is understandable. This fight where you looked terrible, and then you threw a temper tantrum after pushing Volkov after the fight. I expect better. He really has a lot of work to do, and now this is such a weird loss for him. Cause now what? Like, I'm gonna get into fight ideas in a second, but like I don't even just off the top of my head, I have no idea what you do with him. I have no fucking idea. So this is meant to pretty much be a get right fight for Pavlovich after the Aspinall loss, and he did not get right. He got worse. So we'll see what happens, man. Not what I expected. Not what I fucking expected. Only thing left to say now is who should they fight next for Alexander Volkov. I'm gonna say, I don't know if this is a hot take, I think this is just what should happen. I think he deserves the winner of Aspinall and Blades. He deserves a title shot. He deserves to be next in line and fight the winner of Blades Aspinall. So, yeah, he gets a rematch. He most likely gets to rematch Tom Aspinall. I think that's a pretty genius idea. Like, what else should you do for him unless you have him fight Gane again for no fucking reason? Volkov and Aspinall. After Aspinall beats Blades and defends his belt for the first time, let's see him defend it against Volkov. Pretty simple. And now for the actually harder question to answer: what the fuck is next for Sergei Pavlovich? He's gonna drop all the way down to at least 5, if not farther down. Now, who does he fight? Probably the winner of Tybura Spivak. I don't hate that idea. I don't think he's gonna fight Jalen Almeida. I think Jalen might fight Throgan. So, and I think Jalen might be like, that would be such a bad fight for Pavlovich right now. I don't hate the idea of him versus the winner of Tybura Spivak. That's a very winnable fight for Pavlovich. Maybe Jairzinho if Jairzinho beats Taito Iwasa. But yeah, I'd probably say Pavlovich fights the winner of Spivak Tybura. I think it makes the most sense. So let's do it. Not very much else to say. Really shocking fight, and like I said, just almost as flawless of a performance as you can have against Sergei Pavlovich. Mad respect to Volkov, man. Looked amazing. And who should they fight next? I like Alexander Volkov versus the winner of Blades Aspinall. I like Sergei Pavlovich versus the winner of Spivak Tybura. I think both make sense. Both ideas give both guys time off to heal up and get ready. And I think Volkov earned that title shot. So let's see it, man. Not very much else to say. What a win for Alexander Volkov. And now time for the main event of the evening. Holy shit. All I can say as we head into our main event of the evening in the middleweight division, a fucking murder between Robert the Raper Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov. Wow. It took Robert Whittaker 1 minute and 49 seconds to fraud check Ikram Aliskerov. Not much to say. They did a small feeling out process. Eventually, Robert did land an overhand right, I believe, that killed Ikram's equilibrium. Robert chased him down, tried to head kick him, and landed very partially. But then he threw a left uppercut from hell that dropped Ikram. A little bit of ground and pound, and it was over. Robert Whittaker still got it, because he never lost it. Wow. That is a statement from Robert Whittaker, man. God damn. That is what we love to see. That's why we all love Robert Whittaker. A fucking legend of the game. He's a fucking legend, man. He's a fucking legend. Wow. I'm fucking just recapping it right now. I'm almost speechless because holy shit. I still can't believe he did that to Ikram. I thought Whittaker had a good chance of winning. I did not think you would knock the motherfucker out in under 2 minutes. Like, god damn, especially since that's Robert's first finish since like 2017 when he beat Jacare. It's like, god damn, dude. Like, Whittaker's not really been a finisher in his later years. He's more of a point fighter that wins decisions. Not tonight. Tonight he said, fuck you, I'm beating your ass. And he did. So, good. Wow. I can't say much else besides wow. What a fucking performance by Robert Whittaker. That was amazing. I can't say anything else. One of the best. That might be the best Whittaker has looked in years. Like, that's the best I've seen him look in a long fucking time. Since maybe, what? Fucking Gastelum? Jared? Vittori? That's the best Robert Whittaker we have seen in a long fucking time. He still got it. Only 33 years old. He still got it. And, yeah, Ikram Aliskerov. Well, you can go back to beating tomato cans in the Apex. Because, yeah, you're a fraud. Sorry, man, I don't make the rules. I just follow them. Welcome to the fraud list, Ikram. Yeah, don't really got much else to say, man. Guess let's get into fight ideas. And I think it's obvious what fight you do with Whittaker. You do Whittaker and Strickland. Let's fucking get that done. The winner fights the winner of Drake is Izzy. Simple, effective. Let's do it. I would like to see it. Should it happen? Realistically, logically, no. But the UFC is gonna fuck over Strickland as much as they can. So yeah, be ready to see Robert Whittaker and Sean Strickland. So yeah. Again, I don't make the rules, but let's be honest, we know that's probably what's gonna happen. So if I'm down to see it, I'm not gonna complain. That's a great fight. Let's see Whittaker and Strickland, man. Book it. No one cares who Ikram fights. He'll go back to beating tomato cans. So, yeah, not really much else to say, man. What a fucking performance by the Reaper. Dude, he's still here. I can't believe it. Only thing I have to say is, who should they fight next for Whittaker? Let's see him in Strickland. Simple as that. Winner gets the title shot. Not very much else to say. This Hamzat would have got the same fate, by the way, if not worse. The Reaper is back. Boom. That's the card. To go over how I did on picks, I went 9 of 11, 5 perfect, 590. The only two I got wrong were Pavlovich and Walker. Pavlovich got schooled. Walker is Walker. Not upset. The bonuses. were 4 performance bonuses to Whittaker, Shara, Oezdemir, and Lima. I would have gave performance bonuses to Whittaker, Lima, and Oezdemir, and I would have gave 5 of the night to Nasrat and Jared Gooden. I think they deserve a 5 of the night 10 times more than Shara deserves a performance bonus, but whatever. And the only thing left to say is, if you missed a card, what would I say you should go back and re-watch? Really, if you have the time, go re-watch the whole card. Outside of, I would say, Gastelum, Gadzhiyasulov, and maybe Shara Bullet, go re-watch the whole card. You got 8 fights I would say you should watch. It was a good card. It was a really solid card, especially for a fight night in 2024 that we're calling it a good card. Like, we don't get to call fight nights good anymore. I'm calling this one good because it was. So, yeah, man, I'm happy. I enjoy this card. 3 bad fights, fucking 2 awesome knockouts and some bangers in between makes up for that pretty easily. So, great stuff, man. Great stuff. Yeah, that's the recap. Not very much else to say. I enjoyed the card, and now, what a way to lead into 303. What a fucking way to lead into an insane international fight week. So, I guess let's buckle up and get ready for Yuri and Alex, Lopez Ortega, MVP and Cuckboy, fucking Peyton Talbot, Anthony Smith. So much shit. I can't wait. You'll hear me break down UFC 303, Friday 1 p.m. EST, like I've been doing for 4 fucking years now. And you hear me recap it probably Sunday. Actually, probably not. Maybe Sunday, I'll try. And, yeah, not really much else to say, unless I'm really blanking on something to say, which I don't think I am. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2024. Again, thank you so fucking much for 50 subs. Let's keep growing, my friends. Or should I say, my goats. And unless I'm blanking on something to say, which I don't think I am, as always, RX out. Good vibes only and always.